Mr. A here, saying, how y'all doing?
Yo! Are you ready to rumble? Or should I say tumble? Cause I don't stumble or fumble like a cracker flying combo. Standing on the ground, black big bird, killing worms and germs, and I'm doing it on my terms.
Welcome to the Rumble. We are back and better than ever, helping you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. We don't want you sucker punch, so we are here each and every week helping you keep your guard up. I am Jeremy Lavelle with Remedy Claims Consulting at Claims Coach on Instagram and TikTok, and they just called me the Mouth of the South. And alongside of me once again is the Catastrophe Queen, the Claims Dame, and the Water Genius herself, Miss Jessica Odell. And as always, the tirelessly titillating and the transcendently tranquil, the one, the only baby cakes, Miss Donna Lavelle. How's everybody doing?
Good.
So guess what's in my rearview mirror, guys? Control the Narrative is in my rearview mirror, but it's also in my windshield too. But what a great event that we had.
That was awesome.
Oh my God.
That was awesome.
If you got to be there,
Thank you.
thank you so much for showing up. That is not the last that you will hear of Control the Narrative. So for all of you that did not get to attend or thought that you might not have wanted to, we've got highlights coming for you. We've got different things, and we have some announcements concerning Control the Narrative that will be coming up very soon. Keep the cat in the bag. Keep the cat in the bag right now. He tried to get out. Did you hear him?
Yeah.
He tried to get out.
Right now. Right now, keep it in the bag.
So here we go. Just to kind of give you guys a quick event recap. Number one, it was sold out. And if we had sold more tickets, there wouldn't have been any place to put anybody because that room was completely packed. I think there was one guy sitting on a midget's lap. I'm not sure.
You say midget.
Oh, okay. There was one guy sitting. Never mind.
And look, that was a well-ventilated, open room, and we got warm in there. That's how
Especially
packed it was.
It did get warm. Thank you to all the sponsors: Claim Wizard, Lansdowne Inspection Services. I don't really remember the full name, but Lansdowne Management, I think, is what it's called. Serendipity Labs, which hosted us. John Wood's law firm, Greenwood, Klein. Whatever order that comes in, John Wood.
I can't remember the order
Thank
either.
you so much for.
Sorry, guys.
I could never remember. I actually had to turn around and read it during the class. I can't remember what order they come in, but all of those guys over there at Green Trial Law, thank you so much for showing up. Claim Wizard, I think I said them already. And then, of course, Ink Payments, who made it all come together for us and helped out a ton on that. Thank you so much. And to all of those who attended, thank you. I appreciate it. I am looking forward to your comments and your thoughts. And if you have any questions, man, we're still here to help you maintain control of the narrative. What a great event. And I am looking forward to doing more if that is what we get to do.
Go to our Facebook page and tell us what you think, what you thought of the training.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to hear about it. Any thoughts on that, Jess?
I thought it was outstanding. I didn't see everybody was facing forward, eyes wide open. Like you didn't see people, drooping their head or having sidebars. People did bring laptops, to work, right? Because they weren't using them very much. I saw them taking lots of handwritten notes.
Unless they were taking notes. I had one guy tell me.
Well, a lot of them were doing the handwritten notes.
Yeah, I had one guy tell me he took 12 pages of notes. You go through and you scroll through the pictures. You know what I mean? I'm just scrolling through the pictures that different people took or whatever. And everybody was either taking notes, looking at the screen. I mean, really and truly.
They had their hand up for questions.
They did. There was a lot going on. Most of the time we had to shut questions down. We didn't have enough time for questions. It was a pretty fast pace. I would say it was pretty fast pace, wouldn't you, Jessica? I mean, it moved really quickly.
Yeah, it was.
Just really, really enjoyed the whole thing. But you know what? I really enjoyed doing that. I would like to do it more. And I look forward to being able to go to other places and possibly do it. So do we have any fun facts?
We do. I have scoured the internet and found a couple of random fun facts for you guys. Fun Facts with Baby Cakes is brought to you by Inc., the best way to get paid after a property claim. Inc., save time, get paid. So here's a couple of fun facts. 1 million seconds is 11 days. And 1 billion seconds is 30 years.
Wow.
If you have 30 people in the same room, there's a 70% chance that 2 of them will have the same birthday.
How many people in a room? 30 people. Well, yeah. And there's a what percent chance?
70% chance.
70% chance. 1 out of 30. Oh, wow.
That
That's
2
crazy.
of them will have the same birthday.
Okay. Yeah. One of them all have different birthdays.
Yeah.
2 of them would have the same birthday.
Yeah.
There you go.
Every planet in our solar system could fit side by side in the space between the Earth and the Moon and still have space left over.
One more time.
Every planet in our solar system could fit side by side in the space between the Moon and the Earth, between the Earth and the Moon, and still have space left over.
Oh, what an awful waste of space. Well, that's why they call it space.
The man who invented Match.com lost his wife to a man she met on Match.com.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Are you
Here's
serious?
some poetic justice.
Yep.
irony.
Let's see. Here's another one. In 1957, Philadelphia Phillies baseball player Richie Ashburn hit a foul ball. That foul ball hit a woman named Alice Roth. And while they were loading her onto the stretcher, he hit another foul ball. That ball also hit Alice Roth.
Wow. There's some bad karma at work there.
It's like that elephant that trampled the lady and then went to her funeral and trampled her casket.
Right.
I don't know why I'm laughing at that, but okay.
Coffin flop.
Okay, here's my last one. One of the people that was nearly selected to go on the Challenger mission was John Denver.
What?
So he would have crashed either way.
Oh my God. There we go. He would have crashed either. Oh, wow. That's some Final Destination eerie stuff there,
Yep.
isn't it?
And an interesting fact about that is that on the first Final Destination movie, I don't know if they did it in any of the other ones, but whenever anyone was about to die, the song Rocky Mountain High would start playing by John Denver.
Wow. That's some interesting, weird and wild stuff.
Weird, wild stuff. Well, now you know, and knowing is half the bullshit.
Knowing is half the bullshit. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an incredible show. So last week, we discussed a lot about building a firm. And one of the things that we all have to realize is that firms are not built by one person. So, for those of you that are going to quickly realize that even if you're going to be a solo operation, there is work to be done, and how we manage it even as a solo operator. We're going to get into how we add to our team, whether it's outsourcing or in-house help. We're going to get into that. I want to remind you that it's going to come to you in 3 separate rounds. When you hear this sound, you know that the round has begun. And when you hear this sound, you know that the round is over. Now, Jessica and I are not debating. We are simply commenting on what is going on every day. It's you that's in the Rumble. So, guys, we are excited to get into this topic, especially for those of you trying to build a firm or how to figure it out all on your own. We're going to get into round 1 because it starts right after this. Public adjusters, listen up. It's Jeremy Lavelle, owner of Remedy Claims Consulting, host of The Rumble, and most importantly, your claims coach. Public adjuster training is one of the hardest things to find. Sure, you can take some online seminars, you can show up to conferences, but none of them tailor training just for you until now. Whether you need to learn how to estimate, scope, negotiate, or prospect, I can help you drill down on the skills you want to develop. Maybe you're just starting out and you need to learn the claims process from A to Z, or you're just wanting help on strategy on a specific claim. I can help you find the traction you are looking for and learn how to truly control the narrative in the ever-changing world of claims. You can reach out to me directly at 888-596-8772, or you can find me on the web at remedyclaims.com and just click Get Started. That's 888-596-8772 or remedyclaims.com. remedyclaims.com and click Get Started. You can even shoot me an email at jeremy@remedyclaims.com. That's JEROMY@remedyclaims.com. It's time to move your career to the next level. La, la, la. Round one, when to hire. So, here, the reason I want to talk about this really and truly, just so let me lay a little bit of foundation and groundwork on why, and you as a PA who are entrepreneurial, you'll probably kind of get where I'm coming from. In our head, specifically this industry, right? We have the ability to make a really, really good living. And it doesn't take long before you get into it to realize how much work it really is. I honestly pretty much thought being a public adjuster was a lot like being an independent adjuster. I was just, doing glorified re-inspections on behalf of the homeowner. That's really what I thought it was. When I first got into it, I didn't see it being much more complicated than that. Now I knew I was going to come up against a whole lot more resistance, but I also felt that while I was coming up against this resistance, I wasn't really worried about it because my job wouldn't be threatened if I argued with the desk adjuster. You know what I mean? I had a lot more. I could say whatever I wanted to say. I could think whatever I wanted to think. My opinion could be whatever I wanted it to be, and I could argue whatever I wanted to argue. And so in my head, I did not have to defend what I thought as much. Now, they may disagree with me, but my livelihood wouldn't be threatened. Then I quickly realized it was so much more than that. So, how to know when to hire is a real question in your mind, because it's not just about when to hire another public adjuster. So we'll get into that, and I want to talk about that a little bit. But there is so much more than that goes into being just a business owner, just a simple business owner, and the infrastructures required to run a business. And I'm just going to throw out a couple of things like a bookkeeper. How do you know? I mean, we're not going to hire a bookkeeper full time. I don't know. But how do you know? What is it better to outsource? When is it better to insource? You know what I mean? How do I hire somebody in? How do I use like a fractional bookkeeper so she works for me and she works for 3 other people? That kind of thing. Do I need to hire one that knows public adjusting? Those sorts of things. Those are all really good questions. And basically, I've got some really, really good insight on that, on when to hire. It's basically when you can't keep up. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going to be able to keep up. That is going to happen. And that was one of the first things that I realized as a public adjuster. It is really hard to keep up with everything that goes on, because remember, while we're looking at the other side of the fence, remember the other side of the fence is a reflection of what we're doing on this side of the fence. Now, we have different responsibilities and duties, but often those things, they're going to have their inspection. You're going to have your inspection. There's all of these things. And you look at what it takes to be an insurance company. Let's assume an insurance company doesn't do life and auto and workers' comp. They're just, all they are is a homeowner's company, and all they do is homeowners insurance. Look at the staff that would be required in order to find business, process payments as they come through the door, handle losses. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, take in how to do the intake on the claim, to inspect the claim, to adjust the claim, and then to underwrite the claim, and all of these different things that they have to do just in order to offer you insurance. Well, on our side of the fence, we've got a lot of the same exact responsibilities, but what I see over and over and over again is one person trying to do what there's an entire other company working against you to do, with a lot more money and a lot more resources. So that is a incredible thing when you look at who you're going up against. I mean, it is, you've got to consider some of these things.
Well, I've struggled with the when, right? Because I can't come from a position of ever truly owning a firm or anything of that nature. But just from where I've sat as typically being somebody's second in command, I've struggled in helping owners make that decision as well. What I might advise is that first, as the solopreneur or business owner, take inventory first. And I can't remember the book. There's a book out there, or a practice or whatever. But take inventory of things that you love to do, things that you are okay with doing, and things that you hate to do. Start with that inventory. Go to the things that you hate to do first. That if you could just outsource this to someone or something else, that would free up your time for the other tasks. Start with that first. And then what I would recommend is see if there is a service, like he was saying, maybe somebody that does it fractionally. Maybe it's a fractional COO. Maybe you need help with operations. Maybe it's a fractional, I don't know. There's lots of fractional type freelancers and virtual assistants out there. But instead of, because I know the number one fear of most people is bringing on somebody full-time and being responsible for feeding the mouths of a family. And I get that too.
That's always, and I have not, I'm going to be honest with you, as we go throughout this podcast, I'm going to tell you, I too, guys, am in this struggle every day on what to do and how to do it, because hiring somebody, there is no other way to say it. It's a risk. It is a 100% risk on what you're doing there, because I mean, you're asking for a lot of trust. You know what I'm saying? And so I tend to be more of an happy outsource guy. I am very, very, because it just simply reduces the risk. But with a reduced risk, I get a reduced return too. So go ahead, Jess.
So another one, an example, some people are like, oh, I can't keep up with these checks and chasing down mortgage companies and all of that. I mean, not to beat a dead horse on, promoting Inc. and their service, but Inc. is an example, a prime example of one of those services that you can, pay either a small fee or subscription to, and they complete the service for you instead of hiring somebody full time to do that, or taking somebody full time and adding that to their plate. So services like Inc. or whatever out there, estimator, there's lots of fractional estimators out there. Find out what you hate to do first. See if there's a service, and then consider full-time if the service option is not there for you, or it doesn't give you that, yep, this is exactly what I want to do.
So things that you hate to do, I'm going to tell you exactly kind of one of the things that I've learned. I'm going to tell you who taught it to me. This is where I first heard it. And I think he pulled it from the same book that you're talking about. And Vince Perry will instruct a lot of people. He said this widely, like on his podcast, that kind of thing. You basically want to look at your daily activities, or if you want to, that's one way to look at everything that you do in a day. But if you're a business owner, you may not do everything every day. So you want to look at what you do daily, and then what is the responsibility activities of your business, right? So you basically create 4 quadrants, right? And I've said this on this show before.
That's right.
You basically make a list of everything, and then you take that list and you transfer this list into one of 4 quadrants. Things that I like to do and that I'm good at. Things that I like to do but I'm not good at. Things that I hate to do but I'm good at. And things that I'm not any good at and I hate to do it. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly.
Basically the things that you're good at and you like to do, that's where you want to spend 90% of your time. Things that you like to do but you're not good at, that's where you're looking to grow, but it may not be the most efficient thing for you to be doing. Then you look at things that you're good at but you don't like to do. For example, I used to really like estimating, but anymore it's like a bottleneck for me. I'm really good at estimating. I slay it in Xactimate. Like I am super good. I just don't have a lot of time for it. And because it's also something that's sort of, you kind of got to keep those muscles stretched and flexed and those gears and joints oiled in there for you to be at it. And estimating changes over time, Xactimate, adds line items that may have been, assumed in some other things like that window opening or a door opening and how that gets painted. That used to not be in there and it's in there now. But, and you're constantly kind of always trying to add to that skill set as an estimator, right? That's a good example for me. I happen to be really good at sweeping the floor, but I'm not going to take a lot of time to do it, right? And then you've got the things that you're not any good at and you hate to do them. I don't like running QuickBooks. I'm not good at it. I'm not, and I don't like to do it. There's always going to be some of these tasks, no matter what the quadrants are going to require your attention and effort in some of them, no matter what you do, no matter what the task is. At some point in time as a business owner, you're going to have to go put your fingerprints on it, right? Even if it's to provide direction as to what you want the result to be because this job gets done. So that is going to happen no matter where you are. I don't remember the name of the book. If somebody remembers the name of the book, please drop that in there. But Vince told me about it, and that is a really good way to start. Then you've got all of the business.
Traction?
Huh?
Isn't that Traction?
I don't know if it's Traction or not. I don't think it's Traction. I don't think it's Traction. I know I read a book called Essentialism.
It's like one of those Atomic Habits kind of books or something.
Right. It's like something along those lines. I know there's a ton of them out there. Vince, if you're listening to the show, drop it in the comments so we know what it is. But that is where I kind of heard that from. But I also realized that there may be things in my daily task, me being the procrastinator that I am, that I'm just never going to get to, like balancing, the bank budget or, those sorts of things that I just kind of put off and I wait till the last minute and then I just have to laser in and focus and get them done. There's also those business things that are within the workflow in order to keep everything moving smoothly that probably need to go on that list too. And then it's the things that you hate and you're not good at. That's really one of the first places that you want to look, for lack of a better term, to outsource possibly. You know what I mean? You're going to want to either outsource that if there's enough that they're very similar. Do you know what I mean? If they're similar in task, if they're all administrative, it might make sense to hire a VA. It might make a lot of sense to do that. There's some stuff that you're not going to like and that you're not good at that you still have to do, like making file notes. Not everything you're going to get out of everything, right? But that is the very first place that you're going to have to, that's where I would look to hire first. So when you have so much to do there, when there's so much of that, now we're at the win part. Now it's time, because you cannot manage, because eventually when you get enough stuff that you like to do to keep you busy all the time, guess what you are going to gravitate to? You're going to gravitate to those things. Like I like talking and doing sales and talking to customers and doing the living room and dealing with them and being the hero. And those are things I like to do, and I'm good at them. I'm very good at them. What I'm not so good at is coming back and writing final demands. They're not my favorite thing to go do. But there's nobody else within my organization or working a claim that I'm working, though that's something that I'm good at, but I don't like doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm super good at writing them, but they're not my favorite thing to sit down because it requires so much focus and concentration, and God, they take forever. So Jess, do you have anything like that to kind of maybe, I'm not trying to monopolize here.
No, the other Whenda, if we're going to call this the Whenda round, the other win part of it is I look at claim volume, because that was a question I used to get asked a lot. Well, what does a typical PA, what can they handle before, on a consistent basis in terms of file load before I need to start looking at hiring a second PA? And, I've always struggled with that because each PA has their own strengths and weaknesses. They may be able to be just fine with 30 claims. They may be able to be just fine at 50. Maybe they start getting stressed out at 80. Maybe a vast majority of, I remember I did a poll. Let's go back. I did a poll on the public adjuster attorney portal that Cal Spoon admins. And I polled, what is everybody's comfort zone, even in a catastrophe? We're not talking about like a steady state, but in a catastrophe.
Not in a steady state, but in a catastrophe, what is your comfort zone? What is the thing that you could wake up and do every day, right? Right.
Yep. So I would say for somebody that is exceptionally seasoned, has been through hurricanes before and has taken on large volume, I would say if you're pushing any more than 80 on that PA at one time, you're going to start burning that PA out. 50, I think, is when most PAs, it came back on the poll, because I did the poll on the public adjuster attorney portal that Cal Spoon admins. In that poll, it seemed like most people were okay or comfortable with somewhere between 30 to 50 claims before they started to get kind of stressed out. But I would definitely say, your seasoned PA could probably take 80 max, and you will pretty much need to hire a PA at that point.
Okay, so I want to just add to that, and because I'm going to be real transparent, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like running more than about 25 or 30 claims, and that's at my max capacity. Because I'm going to be real honest with you. Yes, can I go weeks and run, maybe 60, 70, 80 hours in a week? Yeah, absolutely, I can, but it's unsustainable.
100%. I'm a perfect example of that. I burnt out after 4 years. I'm done.
You're burning super hot there, and you're just not going to be able to sustain it. I'm telling you, work 40 hours a week. That way, when you get that influx and that pop, you have the gas in the tank to do 2 or 3 weeks. Because when that hailstorm hits, or when that hurricane hits, or when that tornado hits, or the freeze that never happens hits, you can handle you're running and gunning at a pretty good clip, and then that way you're on top of it. What happens when you're running 70, 80 hours and you're sitting there thinking, anybody can work 70 or 80 hours a week. Oh, I've worked 70 or 80 hours. I can do 70. But how many weeks can you do 70?
For how long?
Yeah, how many weeks
right.
can you do
For
that?
how long?
I've done it my entire life. No, you haven't. That's just not true. And I saw that poll, Jessica, and when I saw the answers kind of come through, I sort of at a level rolled my eyes, because that really turned more into dick measuring than it did.
I didn't mean it to be that way.
That's really, I can handle this many, and it's like, I can handle this. And it's like, okay, fine, great. Because but you're not asking how many claims can you handle. If you hand me a hurricane, can I handle 90 claims? Yep. And I've done it.
Yeah. The question was literally to help owners realize when to hire another.
The idea here
PA.
is not can you, because we can handle 90 claims, because at the end of 90 claims isn't 91 and 92 and 93 and 94. What we're looking at is I pretty much have like a 25 or 30 sort of, and depending on the size of those claims and the complexity of those claims, you need to have, I've got enough to do here if I'm going to continue to service my clients. Because sometimes you've got 25 or 30 claims, and let's say, for example, now I know this isn't going to happen to anyone ever, but let's just say it does. You decide to throw in a seminar that requires 6 months of planning, and it all culminates, and just before that seminar you spend a week being sick. Now because that is exactly what happened to me, and I'm not making any excuses here. I ask for all of it, right? I'm not complaining. Nobody feels sorry for me, and I don't want you to feel sorry for me. But the reality is if you're working 70 to 80 hours a week, that's all you're doing. You're not good to anybody else or anything else that has to do with living life. And so I just want to be clear on that. I don't know if I rang this. I'm going to ring it again because that's the end of the round. So we're going to get into round 2, and we're going to be covering come on. I'm an editor.
It's either going to be the Howda or the Whoda.
It's going to be who.
It's the how. It's the how to. It's the how to hire. God, man, I'm an editing nightmare. So we're going to get into.
I'm not editing any of this out.
Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. We're going to get into round 2 because it starts right after this.
One of the most difficult claims you can work is a contents claim. It requires extreme detail and significant documentation. Ricky McGregor with Monarch Claim Services is the expert you need on your side. She will handle on-site evaluation, inventory, photo documentation, pricing, and overall contents claim organization. She will work with your team beginning to end so you can focus on the rest of the claim. Do your client a favor and call Ricky McGregor with Monarch Claim Services. You can reach her at 515-783-1434. That's 515-783-1434, or find her on the web at monarchclaimservices.com.
Round 2, how to hire. Now, there's a ton of schools of thought out there. I know I'm going to have a lot to say, but because I'm ready to take a break and I'm a little burned out, I'm going to let Jessica go first. Go. How to hire.
So first, I would say word of mouth. Word of mouth is, and you can vet that and bounce that off other people. Word of mouth is great. Oh yeah, I know so-and-so. I know their work ethics, their personalities. Now, got to take it with a grain of salt, right? Everybody has personal beef with other people at some point in the industry as well. So, but word of mouth, I would say is pretty good. That's a pretty good place to start. The second would be to either stalk the public adjuster or attorney portal page. That's a great resource to find all sorts of people, or even more surgically, or more public adjuster bootcamp graduate network. All those people that have graduated public adjuster bootcamp, somebody might be looking for a job, and they're trained, and they already kind of have a like-mindedness in their approach to claims. So that's another pretty good place to start. LinkedIn, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence of how I feel about LinkedIn, because in fact, I just found a meme the other day that was hysterical. It was basically tell me you know how to speak fluent LinkedIn without telling me you know how to speak fluent LinkedIn. And it's because everybody starts using these phrases and these words, and at the end of the day, it's like, it means jack shit. Like, what did you actually accomplish? Like hard numbers or bullet points, not this. I synergized and I did. I don't know. I have a love-hate with LinkedIn. There's lots of professionals on it, but there's also a ton of fluff and all sorts of stuff.
Jeremy hates LinkedIn.
Oh,
he's on there because I control his account on there.
I literally hardly do anything on there. I think it is a spam factory.
Yes.
I'm not saying that you can't find good people on there, right? I'm not suggesting that you can't find good people. I know a lot of people post their resume up there because they're truly good people looking for a job and a good place to land. So for that, that's great. You know what I mean? But I also I structure strategic relationships in the effort to synergize between complementary services. And it's like, you sell trash bags to the trash man? Is that what you're talking about? I mean, yep. That's basically what you just said. I sell ice cream scoops to Baskin Robbins. You know what I mean? Whatever. Okay. So, and I hate that sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Buzzy speak, that LinkedIn buzz speak, buzzwords. And
listen to that Weird Al song. I forgot what it's called.
If anybody, and I like buzzwords because I think a lot of times, you get those and they communicate, you know what I mean? And we all have those buzzwords or buzz phrases, like at the end of the day, you know what I mean? If when push comes to shove, these are all things these were all sort of euphemisms that we've thrown in there to help us communicate. So I don't really, but it's all like you're some sort of strategic, you're sitting around with blueprints and whiteboards and you're coming up with all of these solutions, and really all you are is a salesman. Okay, so I would rather you tell me you're a salesman and that you could sell ketchup popsicles to ladies in white gloves. I would rather you put that as your CV as a strategic, sympathizer that such as, whatever. I'm just making up a bunch of words that you make it sound way more important than it is. The
Weird Al song is called Mission Statement, by the way.
Oh, Mission Statement.
Listen to that.
Oh, I'm going to look that up.
Another thing that you can do, you know what I mean? And I would have never, 6 months ago, I wouldn't have advised this, right? 6 months ago, I would not have advised this, but I have, out of my own frustration of finding or figuring out how to hire, because one of the hardest things for a public adjuster to do is hire another public adjuster, because the public adjuster he hires finally gets tired of paying that split fee to the public adjuster that hired him and goes, well, I can do this on my own. And you very well may. Do you know what I mean? But you're disregarding the amount of infrastructure that's in front of you.
Yes.
You're disregarding that.
That's a lot.
You're disregarding it just because you can handle a claim from cradle to grave, A to Z, open to close, and write your final demand and take your first photo and shake the hand and get the contract signed, and you can handle the whole thing. There is still a significant amount of expense, overhead, and infrastructure and support that exists there. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, many hands make light work. I put that on my LinkedIn profile, hon. Many hands make light work. It's like, this is just simple. I am an advocate of a firm. I am a solo operator. I have tried and tried and tried to either partner with other firms. Donna will tell you, I've thrown remedy claims in the gutter 2 or 3 times to go work with other people. I'll be honest with you. I have done that in an effort because I know how hard it is to be I was not attached to my logo, my name. I'm probably more attached to it today than I've ever been before because I've built the infrastructure. It's here. It's ready to go. It's plug and play. I'm not going to go help somebody else go make $1 million now. I'm not going to, because I've got all of the experience, the know-how. I don't want to go do that for somebody else. I've already done it here. I've got it. I've built it. But I'm telling you, it's been 5 years, Jess, 5 years building this infrastructure so that it's worth something. In the middle of working claims, in the middle of taking on clients and taking lower settlements and not paying attention to stuff and letting things fall through the cracks, those things had to happen in order for me to build this infrastructure. And there was simply the way I did it was not the right way to do it. I'm telling you. The way I've done it is not the right way to do it. It has caused all kinds of stress. I mean, if you knew how much I drank when I first started doing this, it would shock all of you. You know what I mean? And it's incredibly hard. And so 6 months ago, I would not have advised this. And I'm going to give you an actual company name that you can look up and a name and a guy that you can call. His name is Daryl Bowen. He works for a company called Heartland that is a full HR solutions, and Heartland manages great, big, huge logos. Like everybody, you've heard of all of their customers. Heartland is the name of the company. They do a lot of different things for a small business guy. And part of what they do is they take you through how to hire. They help you find those people that you're looking for. They're essentially kind of like a headhunter, so to speak. That's just some of the stuff that they do. And I'm also going to tell you that it's incredibly affordable. It is not going to be something that breaks the bank here. It is probably less expensive than Xactimate. Boom. How about that? It's less expensive than Xactimate. It is probably less expensive than the CRM that you're paying for or the file tracking system that you're paying for. It's less money than that. And they have a lot of really solid services that when you're trying to build your firm, that is step number 1 is meet with Daryl Bowen. And if you need his number and you're serious about it, I'm not going to throw his number out here, but if you really want to know who it is, you can direct message me on any of the platforms at Claims Coach on TikTok and on Instagram, or you can find me on Facebook at Jeremy Lavelle. And I have a black t-shirt on. That's the profile. So that is one. If you're wanting to know how to do it and really how to build, not just how to hire. I know we're talking about hiring. It'll help you build out infrastructure within your company as far as invoicing goes. It does a ton of stuff. And so Heartland commercial over. But yeah, that's one of the things that I would tell you that's incredible.
That is pretty neat. I'm on the website right now. That's pretty neat.
Forgot to put the time
they've got HR software. They've got payroll support. This is pretty neat. Time and attendance, recruiting software. I mean, because I think that's the other big fear on the Whenda hire is, okay, I think I might be ready in terms of workload, but then the question to ask is, I don't know the first thing about state compliance, federal compliance, all those laws and regulations against, a W-2 versus a 1099 and all those things, So this is a pretty neat nugget right here.
Here's the other
Nice.
thing that I would tell you on how to hire. People like doing what they're good at. Okay. So a good friend of the show, Miss Jackie Ware, most of you know that she has moved into EOS. Okay, that she is a EOS implementer or an EOS coach, if you will. And so if you have a large organization and you're trying to like build out and get your firm more organized and have more organization within the firm to create a positive DNA in that thing, that's a great way to go. That's not what I'm talking about. When I first really got to meet Jackie and started talking to Jackie about things, she does something called the Culture Index. And she knows how to read, and she's a certified coach in this thing. And I am telling you some of these assessments. Another one that I like is the Gallup or Clifton Strength Finders. Okay. The Culture Index and the Strength Finder. I think Gallup bought it. So I think it's the Gallup Strength Finder. I am telling you, I took both of those tests and it changed my life as far as how I see myself and letting me know why I'm good at what I'm good at. And so it will help you, it's not about disqualifying people as much as it is about getting them in the right role. You know what I mean? And when people know that, hey, for lack of a better term, I have a propensity towards administration, that's where you're going to want to set them, is in some sort of administrative role. And if they're a smart person and they have a lot of talent, they bring a lot to the table, you give them a lot of responsibility and you can probably offload a lion's share of the administrative stuff. Like, I hate it. I hate administrative stuff. You know what I mean? And so like if the paperwork had me fill out somebody's name and address, I would put the zip code on the wrong line. There would be something wrong with the paperwork that I fill out. I suck at paperwork. And that administrative thing, keeping things organized, making sure those things, and you can offload a bunch of that stuff just by hiring the right person, not just because your niece needs a job. That is going to disappoint you. And I'm telling you, if you don't know how to hire, these are things that will help keep you from making mistakes. And it should, whether it's $20 or $30 a candidate, maybe you want to make sure that you like them and then you send them through the assessments. A lot of people give them the assessments before they'll even talk to them. It just doesn't matter. But Donna, what did it cost Remedy Claims on a bad hire?
Oh God, like $12,000
plus my time, plus my effort and time to do other things.
Our mental state.
And then even after that person was no longer employed, it still continued to cost us our time, our effort, our sound mind, those sorts of things. It was probably, all in all, it was probably a $20,000 swing to hire the wrong person.
Yep.
And our intentions were to help that person and to change their outcome.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And the amount of time that I put in to that individual to basically get nothing out of it.
And incidentally, it was a friend of mine. So think twice before hiring friends.
Yeah,
we're no longer friends.
and that
seems intuitive, right? To hire a friend because you're already like-minded. You already know them. You already know they have good work ethics and whatnot because you've been around them enough to see them in many of their forms, true colors and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I have to completely agree with you because when you recognize that it's time to depart from a business perspective, the friendship automatically goes with it. No matter which one of you tries the hardest to keep it intact, it falls apart.
I'm going to tell you, the moment you hire them, they're no longer your friend.
Yeah.
That's really, I mean, you may still be personable. You may still go do stuff together, but at the end of the day, they're not your friend. They're your employee. You know what I mean? And if you don't want your friends I don't want my friends to be my employees. Do you know what I'm saying? I just don't want that. I want my friends to be my friends. I need my friends to be my friends, because if you know me very well, you understand I don't have a lot of friends. So it's important.
I don't even like him.
Usually. That's because she chose to work with me. The reason she doesn't.
It's because I work with him.
It's because she works with me. And so,
but
anyway,
But even for those friends that don't mind having their friends as their boss, because I've been that person. I've never wanted to be the number one. I like being number two. I do. I like being in that supportive role to my number one. So I'll put a friend on that pedestal, and I don't mind being, that person being my boss. But again, if you determine at some point in that journey together that it's time to part ways, for whatever the case may be, for whatever the reason, it's very unfortunate that friendship goes with it. No matter how much you separate personal versus business, it goes with it. So it is
you're not
scary.
going to separate one from the other. It at that point, I mean, that's just the reality. So buyer beware if you hire your friends. Okay. Now I know that there are people that work together that they were buddies, but I guarantee you after it was all said and done, unless that friend simply got a better opportunity or was completely understanding why the business could no longer employ that friend, unless there was some sort of mutual departure there, it's not the same. It's just not the same. And so, the other side of it is like when you bring them in, if they're in some sort of lesser role, they think that they have a level of access and influence as your employee. They have, because as your friend, they have a level of access and influence as your friend, but they're going to be confused by the fact that they don't have the same level of access and influence as your employee is. Oh, well, I know Jeremy. I'll talk to him. We'll get this, I'll make sure that, he sees it our way. I'll go in there and I'll be the ambassador for all of us underlings. And we're good friends and I know he'll see it our way, and the reality is like, who's my ambassador to you guys? When are y'all going to see it my way? It's not really. Do you understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It just hit me as we were talking about this, because there's a difference between, how we handle things in the military, right? A role is a role. It's a little bit more black and white. Another how is go to veteran hiring events.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
VFW, or maybe VFWs or veteran hiring events or just veteran outreach. Basically, vets make great employees.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because one of the things vets definitely do is they understand the chain of command first and foremost. They understand, talk to the person, you've got your person that you go complain to. The other thing that vets also understand is that they complain upward. They don't complain laterally.
That's right. Or down.
You know what I mean? It doesn't do any good. There's only one direction to complain, and that's up, because when you complain up, you affect change. When you complain laterally, you affect no change. When you complain, down, then it becomes you drawing disciples unto yourself, and now I've got to cut you out like the cancer you are. You know what I mean? So when there's a lot of different ways to go. I know that there's organizations within our industry. Mark Goldwich runs a foundation. Donna, help me out with the name.
Veterans Claim Victory.
Veterans Claim Victory, that is trying to get veterans, positioned into the insurance industry. So if you know a veteran that's interested in this, and I'm going to be honest with you, just between, everybody sitting here, if you've never done this kind of work before, a great place to start is as an independent adjuster. It's a great way to go get trained. It's a great way to understand the process. Yeah. Get seated in with a contractor that is willing to, most of the time contractors just want to set you out selling and door knocking, those kinds of things. I don't know that that's the best way to learn this business, to be honest with you. But there are some things that you can do, or you can just go pass your PA test and see if you can find somebody that will train you. If, those are kind of harder things to do. But I'm going to tell you, if you're looking to hire, inexperienced PAs, if you own your own firm, again, buyer beware, because it's a lot of information, things that may be second knowledge to you. it requires extensive explanation and conceptual relaying certain concepts about how insurance simply works before you figure out how a claim works. Final thoughts on round 2, Jess?
No, I've actually struggled with the how. That's things that seem intuitive have not been so intuitive.
Well, Jess kind of did a precursor on round 3 where we're talking about who to hire. Round 3 starts right after this. Are you a public adjuster, insurance roofer, or part of the restoration industry looking to streamline your first-party claims process? Let me introduce you to Claim Wizard, the ultimate tool that transforms the way you handle claims. Claim Wizard is designed with your unique business needs in mind. It offers a comprehensive suite of features that makes managing claims effortless. With its intuitive dashboard, you can easily track and manage every aspect of a claim from initiation to settlement. This powerful platform supports document management, automates workflows, and provides real-time updates, ensuring you stay ahead in the game. At Claim Wizard, they understand the importance of support. That's why they offer unmatched customer service with a team of experts who are always ready to assist you. Whether it's a technical query or guidance on best practices, Team Wizard is there to ensure your experience with Claim Wizard is smooth and efficient. Time is money, especially in the claims industry. Claim Wizard is engineered to maximize efficiency. It streamlines the entire claims process, reducing the time spent on paperwork and administration. This means faster claim resolution, increased customer satisfaction, and ultimately a boost in your business's productivity and profitability. So if you're looking to elevate your claims handling process, Claim Wizard is the solution. Try it today and experience a revolution in claims management. Claim Wizard, revolutionizing claims, handling one claim at a time. Round 3, who to hire. So who to hire? You said it. I want to go back to that one. Veterans Claim Victory will help you find veterans that are possibly looking for a place. They also, Veterans Claim Victory, before they try to even place them, are trying to get them trained. I know for a fact that Cal Spoon has a spot, and he does his training once a month. If I'm looking at it, I may not be exactly right, but it's usually the first or second week of the month that Cal Spoon offers it. And if you're a veteran, generally he'll offer that spot for free as long as you can get there.
Yep, one spot. He'll just ask for a little video, about yourself or something, or why you want to do this. And he always does. He coughs up one spot for a veteran. It is.
I think that's great. And if you don't get that spot, again, reach out to Veterans Claim Victory if you're a veteran. Do they do like police officers as a second career? I think
know. It's all first responders.
It's all first responders.
And, veterans and first responders.
Veterans and first responders. So, I mean, I don't want to speak for Veterans Claim Victory, but there are organizations out there that can help you get placed. I want to tell you that Remedy Claims is hiring. If you're an experienced adjuster and you want to come work at a firm, and no, what did I say there? What kind of adjuster?
Experience.
I said an experienced adjuster. I want somebody that basically, you don't have to know everything about everything. That's not what I mean, but you understand kind of those things, because that's where we are. That's where I need help right now, is I need experienced adjusters that can pretty much plug and play. So if you're looking for a place to land,
you need to be able to bring in your own work as well.
Yeah. I mean, Remedy Claims' motto is not because you don't know what you don't know. That's what we tell our clients. But what I tell my employee is you eat what you kill. So when you get hired at Remedy Claims, welcome to Remedy Claims. You eat what you kill.
Yeah. I mean, we will give you claims at, sometimes if we have them, but most of the time you need
And I have a lot of claims come in. I have a ton of claims come in, and but I don't want to guarantee.
Basically, have some overflow.
Yeah,
right. You have overflow from time to time, but be able to feed yourself as well.
Right. So, I mean, if I've got the extra claims, I'm the first one to give them up, especially if they start with roof claim. That
Man, there's nothing like a water loss. God,
Have all
I
the
love
roofs you
water
want.
loss.
And I've got a lot of really good, stable roofing clients that would be happy to have a guy that was focused on them and understood kind of the way that we handle claims. You could be very successful. So I do want to just kind of throw that out there. But who to hire? If you are trying to build a firm, I would recommend that they be experienced. I wouldn't burden myself with training until you can get some income coming in from some other adjusters. That's one of the things that I would say. You want to hire somebody experienced first before you decide to take on more work by having to also train that person, because it is slower. It is more work to sit down and train somebody, but there is some value to slowing down so you could speed up. So
I would think that if you're just now expanding from something like a solopreneur, maybe one other person and adding another, yes, 100% all day long. I think if you're at a level where you might have 4 or 5 pretty seasoned CAs or PAs, you could have kind of afford, so to speak, to bring on a kind of that newbie, because then you have a little bit of spreading of the wealth, if you will. Hey, maybe you'll go train in the field with this PA for 2 weeks, and then maybe you can go do some desk adjusting training with this PA. You can kind of spread it out so that not any one PA is tied down or whatever to the newbie. But here's where it's like our industry tells everybody out there, oh, if you're brand new, go to a PA firm, go get employed with a PA firm, and we all do it. We all say the same thing. Don't hire a brand new person with no training.
if you're new, go to a PA firm. But if you own a PA firm, don't hire anybody new.
Don't hire new. Yeah. So I think the differentiation there is there's room for that, or it's a little easier to take on a newbie if you have a couple seasoned PAs underneath to kind of spread that wealth.
Well, also understand if you're a new PA and you actually have your license, I appreciate the fact that you want to work claims, but you may have to take a lesser role. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you were a new PA, I would probably start you out inspecting losses, because that's really where you need to break your teeth. You know what I mean? And a lot of this depends heavily on your gifting. So if you're heavily administrative, I may start you out learning how to put the files together and organize the files. You know what I mean? And getting it ready for submission. You'll never talk to a desk adjuster, but the work product that we assemble, you may be, in charge of some client communications, either on the phone or, via email, and updating files. I mean, it kind of depends on what your gifting is. So if you're new, generally you can have that, but also don't expect to make $100,000 a year when you don't know shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm going to tell you, it's not a real lucrative job. So I would also tell you, don't quit your day job. You know what I'm saying? Unless you've got some kind of money to support you, because nobody's looking to split 50 to 60% of the fee bill with somebody who doesn't know anything. Again, what I would say is just make sure that you're evaluating your role and your ability to contribute. Don't get your needs confused with what you're able to contribute. And that requires a level of self-awareness. It's like, look, I don't know a lot, so I am not going to be much help, and I'm not going to be able to take that big of a load off. And the little bit of help I have to be instructed in. So
I've kind of got some roles or whatnot that I would recommend most people start with. So most people will call all the admin folks kind of the front office. That seems to be,
right,
pretty common in industry to call it the front office. Then you might have a field or outsourcing element. Then you might have a desk adjusting element. And then once you get that, and then you start needing to bring in some kind of management, then you would have like an operations manager, which may be just your lead PA. But for front office, I mean, you'd have somebody like your regular office manager. And again, as we discussed in the previous, rounds, some of this can actually be outsourced through services. Because I had listed things like, monitoring for HR compliance, licensing, stuff like that. There's services out there. It doesn't necessarily have to be a body, but somebody that kind of looks after those compliance flavored tasks.
Yeah.
A consumer relations person that, the person answers that phone. They enter the lead into the system. Maybe they conduct that initial client interview, but they're the ones that engage from an office and administrative standpoint, your clients. Those folks, I highly recommend all day long, either a former, hospice nurse, someone who is versed in the special needs community or something like that. They are the most empathetic people, patient. They understand, when people call in and they're going through a chaotic moment, their house just flooded or a hurricane just ripped apart everything that they own, things like that. They are just incredible customer service and customer relations type people. And then maybe you need an office assistant, somebody to do file management, type up your contracts for you. Although a lot of the contract population can now be automated through CRM. So there's different ways to do that. There's, somebody to check mail and then chase around checks and mortgage company things, which again can be a service instead, like Inc. So, there's kind of some roles there that are considered front office. For field, your inspectors, and maybe you have one that's well versed in residential, and maybe you have somebody else that you just trust that person to do all of your commercial, because they are completely different beasts. And that you can look for certain certifications like InterNACHI, right? InterNACHI is the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. So maybe they don't have claims experience, or maybe they don't have some of these other.
But if there's damage, they'll find it.
Oh yeah, they will find it. So, or somebody with different little certifications like that behind their name, tap into their previous experience to fill that need that you may have. And then there's estimators. Again, you can hire one full time, keep them in house, or you can outsource it. There's lots of estimating services. You might need to kind of play around, pick and choose to find the right one for you. I definitely, for what we do, I would say level 1, level 2 at a minimum. I don't even know that for public adjusting a level 3 is necessary. Maybe if you do more commercial or large loss, but even then, Xactimate all day long, it will tell you we were meant for average residential rebuild. So it's not the best tool to use for large loss. I don't know how you feel about who to hire for the field when it comes to large loss.
Again, unless you're prepared to train, do you know what I'm saying? You're going to want somebody that's experienced. And so I have my easy button named Andrew.
Guys, amazing.
I have my easy button.
No, he is your kept secret. You're not allowed to talk about Andrew.
What's the first rule about Andrew? We don't talk about Andrew.
We don't talk about Andrew.
No.
Find you an Andrew.
I've got that guy that handles that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you this, like my easy button is me, Jeremy, as a PA, not Jeremy as Remedy Claims, but me, Jeremy, as a PA. That's my easy button. I have other PAs. It's like, look, if you want Andrew, one, you got to make sure that he's not doing something I have him doing. And then two, you got to pay him because I pay Andrew. You know what I mean? That comes out of Jeremy's money because Remedy Claims makes its money aside and apart from me. I'm paid just like every other public adjuster in this firm. There's no difference in that. So I have assembled me as a public adjuster within my firm, given the amount of money that I'm given. I've assembled my team. You know what I'm saying? The people that I use. And so and I think the cool thing about being a public adjuster is all you really need to be good at is policy. That's what I was going to say next. The biggest thing that you really need to be good at. That's the skill set that you need to develop more than anything else is being good at policy. Yes. I don't care. As an IA, you need to know how to estimate because that's part of your job. But as a public adjuster, it's not really the most crucial, pivotal thing that you need to know. I was working with a firm the past 2 days since Control the Narrative, and I said it is a very handy skill. You know what I mean? It's like if you're going to go to Mexico, it's handy to speak Spanish. right? But it's not absolutely 100% required because you can find a lot of people that speak English down there. You can certainly get around and still have a good time, but it's not the same sort of interaction
Right.
with the culture as if so. I mean, while it is a great skill to have, I mean, and I told the firm, it's like I could teach you Xactimate, but before I get into anything, like go take level 1. If you want to be a public adjuster and you want to be a service to somebody, at least know how to do something. You know what I mean? So you either need to have had some real good training on policy. You need to either have some real good training and those simple little skill sets that maybe you don't know. What does it cost to get level 1 certified these days? Is it like a couple $100?
I don't remember. There's so many, and there's different people that do level 1 or do level 1 and 2, but based on their expertise and their longevity in the industry, their rates vary greatly.
Yeah, well, and so if you get a certified Xactimate trainer, I mean, which is what I would obviously recommend, there's a lot of good ones out there. I don't know if Elena Wilson has got her CXT or Xactimate or XCT.
I don't know either.
Whether she does or she doesn't, that lady knows Xactimate. I mean, hands down is one of the best. I know, you know what I mean? So whether she has that designation or not, she is real. I mean, that's a great place to go get if you're wanting to do it on a web-based thing. I am always going to encourage you to go to a classroom where questions are being asked that you're not thinking to ask. So that's better than sitting and just doing a webinar kind of thing. But something is better than nothing. You know, I would say that is a really good skill to go have. I just want to throw this in as far as public adjusting goes. Bring something to the table, and that will get you hired a lot quicker rather than just being completely and totally green. There's a lot of education out there. Take Cal Spoon's course, take Control the Narrative. Go take some sort of course that gives you some sort of situational awareness. Vince Perry has got a really good opening course. It's a video course that you sit down and watch. That's a great course to just sort of give you kind of the 30,000 foot view and what the claims process looks like. So at least you have some kind of idea. The other thing when it comes to who to hire, Jess hit on it. And I wish she would have kind of hit it right on the laces, if you know what I mean. Hit it right on the screws. Look, there's a lot of people to hire that aren't public adjusters within your public adjuster firm. Virtual assistants, I know that there's some that actually have trained claims people. Brenda Hefner is one of them. Then there's just Upwork. There's all of these different virtual assistant firms that can handle some of these things like your social media presence. If you're wanting to edit little web videos, those sorts of things, there's a lot that goes on to running a PA firm and kind of differentiating yourself. And some of that marketing is part of it. You can have them do, if nothing else, I close 3 claims. I need to send thank you emails and bundle up the last little bit of the claim and ship it off. So those little administrative things or whatever, those take a lot off your plate. And those are also really good. So it's the things that do not focus in on the thing that you're good at. So that's really where you want to hire. There's a lot of good virtual assistants out there and that you can get into. But Jess, final thoughts on 3. Go ahead.
Yep, the desk adjusting part. Okay, I think a lot of people think as long as I can do an inspection and write an estimate, I can be a PA. The thing that separates PAs from glorified estimators is the ability to write, being a skilled writer and negotiator. Those 2 skills often get overlooked, and people think, "Oh, you've done construction, you've done roofing, or what have you. You've been somewhere in the industry, mitigation, restoration, and now you can write an estimate. Now you can go be a PA." No. If you cannot explain your way through a paper bag, you are not going to help an insured, your client, get through the rest of the claim process. And then the last little thing is being a timeline Nazi. Those folks that constantly monitor, okay, the last time I touched this file was 1 week ago. I need to get on it. Or, hey, it's day 14. I need to be prepared with a rebuttal on why they just, blew through the 15 days acknowledgement statute. People that are just really, really in tune to timelines. is another skill that, again, separates us from a lot of other professions. So I would definitely say that find you a skilled writer that can explain and do rebuttals.
Absolutely. That is, and for like from the desk, so you may have a guy that you need to start out in the field, and then you have somebody that's got awesome written skills, and you may want to start them as a desk adjuster. That's okay. But those are, that's some of those great written skills that understand the rebuttals. And I mean, you'll often find as you're starting in desk adjust, you'll make the same arguments over and over and over again. You know what I mean? We're not going to award O&P because it doesn't present the level of complexity to warrant it. And it's like, and
we don't cover wear and tear.
We don't cover wear and tear. And it's literally a copy and paste argument. That's great. We're not asking you to cover wear and tear. We're asking you to cover, it's all of that kind of stuff. And you're making the same arguments over and over and over again. Right. And, one of the things that I know that IA firms do, they have something called, I remember reading this article and they called it a jump on event. And a jump on event is a catastrophe where they have to throw a bunch of adjusters. And it's the same thing for public adjusting. When you want to start as a public adjuster, a good place to start is when they have a whole lot of work to do. Now, there's a lot of trial by fire in that move. You know what I mean? And you may get weeded out if you can't keep up. But I mean, a jump on event is a great place to get in there, and they may even let you shadow for free. There may be some things that you can do where you're not looking for a job. You might be able to reach out to some people on Facebook and says, "Hey, I just want to shadow you." I wouldn't let anybody shadow me not because I would mind somebody coming along and watching. You know what I mean? I don't have any problem with that. That's not the issue. I just don't know how much you're going to get out of it because there's so much nuance to it. It's not the same process. It's not so much a wash, rinse, and repeat kind of thing. You'll learn about how to work this claim. You know what I mean? But I don't know how much it's going to inform any other claim that you work. Do you know what I'm saying? You're going to see that here, but you may not see that everywhere, So, nothing wrong with going on some roof inspections if that's what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with going on some interior water losses if that's what you want to go do. You can kind of see sort of the steps that they take. So those are all possibilities. Look for a jump on event, right after a freeze. It's like, I want to learn how to do this.
And in a way, I kind of encourage firms to host an event. Why? Because you may find your next talent to bring into.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody might stand out and they may think they want to go on their own, and you may, shadow them and you guys just hit it off. The chemistry's there, the talent's there, everything just could fall into place. You could find your next new hire.
Well, guys, what a great show. And I just want to remind everyone, if you like this episode, I want to ask you to press the subscribe button, click like, and if you could, share it with somebody. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there that are looking for a job, that are looking to hire people. So if you think this could help somebody, please share it, and we'll be back next week. But in the meantime, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, and we will see you on the next one.
Ready to ram you like the fire slammer jammer. Yes, we're coming up, don't even try to diminish it. I won't start it, but I damn sure will finish it.